Alright, so this is stage 1 of the build. You're going to need a soldering iron. I'm using a 40-watt soldering iron, and it's got a flat tip to it. Okay. I'm also using a piece of steel. You can use whatever you want, but mirror would work. I'm just using a piece of steel because it dissipates heat very quickly and cools the PLA as I work. So I'll put that there. You're going to need PLA spikes like that. I have a video listed below that shows you how to make these. And you're going to need the two bottom. You're going to need a bumper. You're going to need the bumper grips. There's 3 little bumper grips. Then you're going to also need the little mending plates. Okay, so those are the other bumper grips. Here's the mending plates. Now the mending plates, they have 2 thin ones and 2 thicker ones. The 2 thinner ones go here and the 2 thicker ones go in the back. They're not much thicker, you know what I mean? You can barely tell the difference, but trust me when I say it is important. So I'm going to put the thinner ones here and the thicker ones here just for right now. Cool. Alright, I took a drill and just kind of cleared out all my holes. And then what I'm going to do here is begin making a melt. Then I'm going to take this and then hold it against the steel, rub it around a little bit, and that cools it really quick. Now I have this mushroom head. Okay, once I have that, I can then start sewing this together. So I'll go like this, pull it through, take a mending plate, pull that through, set it down, and then I gotta look for clippers. Yeah, here's a pair. And I clip off about 1/4 of an inch up from that. Then I'll take it, kind of hold it into place without heating up my hand, and I just go like that. Perfect. There's my mending plate. Now if you want to super cool it, you could take that piece of steel, just hold it against it. Just like that. And it flattens it out pretty good. Now it makes a nice little rivet. And look at, you can even pivot on it if you wanted to. It's pretty cool. And then you just keep continuing to do that until you got the whole thing kind of stitched together. Very cool. Now, doing this all on video is going to be incredibly boring to watch, so I'm just going to kind of show you where the general things go and how they work after I get this one built in. I just wanted to show you how I'm like sewing this together. Perfect. Okay, after you get all the mending plates into place, then you put the bumper here. You put your pie into place. And then you run a PLA spike all the way through the holes and into this one. And this should go in between the pie just like that. Once you get it all stitched together, it is very, very, very sturdy. But for right now, everything kind of floating around. Here's a hint on the build. You could do this. Hold your breath. Do not breathe in fumes of ABS. And what I'm going to do is just lightly tack this. My face is far enough away where that's not in the fumes. Just let that dry, and that'll hold it together for a second as you get everything stitched together. Okay. Alright, I'm going to keep continuing to stitch this together, and then I'll go to the next part of the video where we work on layer 2. After you get done welding everything into place using the rivets, it should look like this. Okay, so you get your rivets just like that. Very sturdy. Cool. Now we have to do wires. Now, it's your choice what wires you want to include. Me, myself, I will never be using the RCA. So this time I'm going to leave that out of the design, knowing that it can go in the design, but I'm not going to be using it, so why waste my time? I am going to be using HDMI a lot. I'll probably be using audio once a decade, but it's there for me. These USB are double-ended, or male-female. So they look a lot like this. And let me get these away from the group here. Geez, so many cables already, right? So on one end I have this, and then the other end I have this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to lay that one down right there, and then I'll plug the USB in, USB 1, USB 2. Now for the NIC or network, I have a nice black one, and for the end I'm using a coupler. I'll show you the coupler later. It's in my coat upstairs, but it basically, what it does, it turns this into a female. Okay, so that way I can plug this in, and then I have that coupler. Okay, then I could tuck the wires just like that. Okay, so you're going to need these cable ties. And at this point, I got my 3 wires in there. I have this little slot that this goes under and into the other side. And then I'm going to need some needle nose pliers to pull that up. Just like that. So I'll tuck my wires, attach my cable tie, and try to do this as I talk. Perfect. Then I could just snip off the excess. Alright, now there's other areas to put cable ties. There's a bigger cable tie, and that one holds the audio and RCA. You don't need to put it there, but it is nice to have just in case. That one fits a little snug, so push it through. And since I'm only using the audio and not the RCA, I'm just going to go through the first one. And don't rink on this. Just general, not too tight. You don't want to push it down. Perfect. Okay, next. I'm going to take all these wires and I'm going to put them through this. And there's a little slot for cable tie right there. Perfect. Okay, next one. We need power. Now the power, we're going to be unplugging that sometimes. It happens. So I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to go through this first slot and then out of this one. And I should have taken and put that back here, but I'll have to undo that here. So put the power in first. Oops. Or leave it alone. It's up to you. I meant to do that. That's what it is. Yeah. Leave a little bit of slack so it allows you to unplug it and plug it back in if needed. Just going to snip this wire or cable. Put that back in there. And then run a new one. Got this camera in my face, so it's like giving me some kind of depth imperfection when I'm working here. Okay, so there we go. Now if you wanted to put another one here, that's fine too, but really, that's all you need for the cables. I also incorporated one right here in case you never want to take this off. Let's say you have a media player and you want to put this down so the kids have access to it. You don't want the kids to constantly pull this out or do anything weird, so that allows you to nail that down. Also, we have this bottom area where there's going to be a plate. The plate looks like this. Okay, this is the only time, well, there's another time I use glue, but you need glue for this. In order to work, I would take it, get some sandpaper, and roughen it up a little bit. And also roughen up this. Just be careful not to sand any of the pie. You don't have to roughen it up too much, just enough so the super glue will adhere very nicely to the ABS. There we go. Now for glue, I use this. I love this stuff. It actually melts the ABS quite well. So it not only mends it, it bonds it. And I'm just going to put a little bit here. And a little bit here. And then take my plate and put it over the top of it. Alright. Now I'm just going to let that dry for a few minutes. And then we'll move on to the next part.